group against Galamsey is asking the government of Ghana to prosecute all persons caught breaking the law on responsible mining. The group says a fair and transparent prosecution will give citizens confidence that government this time is bent on ending the outlawed practice. On Monday, some members of the group presented a petition to the National Chief Imam, Sheikh Osman Nuhu Shaributu, as part of their call to end irresponsible mining on Ghana's waters. We're having a conversation on the back of this, and we're speaking with one of the petitioners. We'll be joined by Michael Abeda, Vice President of the Galamsey Action Group, after the group sent a petition today to the National Chief Imam. We'll have a conversation when he joins us. We're talking about the Galamsey menace relating to environmentalist Elizabeth Ver's request to government, as well as the petition, the signatures of the petition that she is getting to facilitate the fight against illegal mining. Michael Adiabahas has joined us in the studio for more on this. He's the Vice President of the Galamsey Action Group. Michael, we're grateful for your time with us on Newsnight. You came all the way from Takoradi to present this petition to the National Chief Imam. Why the first call to a religious leader?
Thank you, and then thank you. Good evening to your listeners. We've sent the petitions across, and it is not a time for us to give or to send the petitions to the religious leaders. We've been petitioned the chiefs, the DCs, and then the ministers, but now is the time for us to send these petitions to the religious leaders, the Christian Council, the
Yes, go ahead.
The Christian Council, the Catholic Bishop Conference Secretariat, and then that of the Chief Imam, and then the Pentecostal and Charismatic Council. So that made us to come all the way from Takoradi to petition them.
How crucial is the role of religious leaders in the fight against Galamsey?
The reason that we petition them is that because they have a large number of people, at least if they talk, they will listen. So that's the more reason why we sent the petitions to them, for them to advise and then talk to their members so that they will listen and then go away from what is happening. We are pleading to the government to speed up so that things will go on normal.
Right. What are your demands, your recommendations in the petition?
What is in the petition is we are appealing to government to at least take out those people mining in the river, and then about 100 meters to the river, take their machines out from the place. After they are done with those things, they should reclaim the land for it to be used for an agricultural purposes. These are our demands.
Right, the demands you're making from government in the fight against illegal mining. Again, questions on the role of religious leaders. If your appeal is to government, the petition was to the National Chief Imam. Draw a line for us.
We've given some of the petitions to the government. We sent a petition to the President, to the Parliament, and it was read on the floor of Parliament by Honorable Rashid Papu. And then it has now come to us that we should send some to the religious bodies so that they will talk and educate their members on the effect of mercury. That's the sensitization on mercury, so that...
your point number 6 says you require the government of Ghana to show fair and transparent prosecution of all those caught breaking the law on responsible mining, to give citizens confidence in the impartiality of the process. Do you think the prosecution of corporates, people engaged in illegal mining, do you think has not been fair?
Yeah, we think so, because there are some people who have been caught at Iziema and they've been released from police custody. Because I quite remember I and Honorable Bonzo were having an interview at Takrady, and there was a guy who was caught at Telekubokazo. So we were then following the proceedings at court before we realized we had a call that guy has been released, to which he was even disturbing the land, causing harm to the land. So we thought he would be jailed, but we did not have anything like that. So that's the reason we are pleading to the government to let fairness prevail whenever these things happen.
So does it seem like the fight against Galamsey, as I put, is more like, we're just tapping the fight, we're just massaging the fight, not really fighting it?
That is it. But now, currently, Honorable Abu Jinapo, what they are doing, we like it. When you go to the site, you see excavator, I burn it. Because all of us, we are in Ghana here, when last year or last 4 years, we saw them receiving or collecting all excavators, and before we realized all these excavators have been vanished. So nowadays, what they are doing, we appreciate it, and we think it will continue.
A lot of people are raising concerns on the approach government is taking in the fight now, burning excavators and bulldozers, other mining machinery, but you support it?
Yeah, we support that they should burn it, because we are Ghanaians. CROSBY, let's say there will be an excavator here. You, the same CROSBY, will say, let's give it to the district assembly for them to use it. Before we realize those excavators are back in the forest mining. So if we burn it, there will be no excavator going back to the forest to go and mine.
Our time is limited. What's your next course of action?
We are now waiting for those that we've sent the petitions to. And then there's a program coming on this July, Ghana Gold Expo. We are going to be there so that we all have dialogue and then discuss some things with the minister so that we get to know the next line of action.
Okay. Michael, we're grateful for your time with us on Newsstand. You've been speaking with Michael Adiaba, the Vice President of the Galamsey Action Group. Let's take you back to an earlier story where at least 20 excavators and many other mining machinery have been set on fire by the government military task force in a crackdown on illegal mining in the eastern region. Now, 8 out of the number of the excavators and 1 of the bulldozers destroyed reportedly belong to the National Women's Organizer of the ruling New Patriotic Party, Kate Jemfua. Shadrach Odemejari put together this news desk report. We apologize for the lack of sound in that. We'll bring you that later. But away from Galamsey-related issues, Programs Manager, the expanded program on immunization, the Center of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Kwame Amponsah-Chano, has been spelling out the modalities for phase 2 of the vaccination exercise. He spoke to my colleague, Eugenia Kofa-Kome, via phone.
Remember, we normally work with guidelines, WHO and other guidelines. Initially, the idea was that we were doing between 8 weeks and 12 weeks. But as I said, evidence points to the fact that the closer it is to the 12 weeks, the better. If you remember, the first 600,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccines that we received on the 24th, by 1st March we had started less than a week. This time we want to wait a little for about 2 weeks because we want to get to as close to 12 weeks as much as possible. So it's a strategy for us, and therefore we'll start the second dose on the 19th, from the 19th, I should say, of May.
Okay. If you start the rollout on the 19th, are you going to prioritize the groups of people who get to take this particular one?
Okay, so the segmentation actually started earlier, and it's a one-time thing.
Okay.
Anybody who received the vaccine within a certain period, it doesn't matter which group you belong to, will be due. And so when you look at our data, we have realized that those who receive the vaccine, they would be due. And so there would not be any segmentation.
Now, following a Facebook post by a member of Parliament for Ningo Pram Sam Knight George on the death of a 12-year-old boy at the 37 military hospital, a lot has been asked on whether or not the health sector is delivering on its mandate. We put together this news desk report for you.
Ghana's health sector, despite commendable service delivery amid the global coronavirus pandemic, issues such as the no-bed syndrome, ambulance service, abandoned facilities, lack of equipment, referral issues to mention a few, have always marred successes chalked. While some have described the issue as alarming, others blame the number of deaths recorded in most hospitals on the excuses made by some officials on unavailability of beds for patients. Recently, a 12-year-old lost his life after calls were made to the National Ambulance Service to transport the patient from the Bator Hospital, where he was said to be receiving treatment until his condition worsened. After getting in touch with the ambulance service, the officials insisted that they could not move the child until they got their own independent confirmation from 37 Military Hospital. Prior to the death of the 12-year-old, a 13-year-old Michael Kofi Esiama died at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital following complication from a brain surgery which was being managed by the doctors of the facility, but again, the system failed to save young Michael's life. These age-old issues with the country's healthcare system have become albatross on the neck of government, and it is one of the sectors of the economy campaigners are requesting to be fixed.
So, from infrastructural issues to inadequate health personnel and a complex bureaucratic procedure, these are just a few issues that continue to affect our healthcare delivery systems. And again, we've been hit hard by the news of the 12-year-old boy who died at Bator within the weekend due to the no-bed syndrome. Now, it adds to the total list of lives that have been lost to these deficiencies in Ghana's healthcare system. Ahmed Farhan is the Executive Director of the Africa Center for Health Policy, and he joins us on Zoom for a conversation on the back of this. Ahmed, we're grateful for your time with us on News Night. The death of the boy, it highlighted an already bold plethora of challenges. With all the suggestions to government you've made regarding how to reduce the occurrence of such incidents, how did you feel hearing the news?
Thank you very much to you, and then good evening to your viewers as well. And then let me just extend my heartfelt condolences to the bereaved families arising out of these unfortunate incidences. It is heartbreaking that when Ghanaians collectively make recommendations, in fact policy recommendations to government, with the foresight and researches that they have done, they are not taken with any serious considerations. We have written copiously to the government, especially the Ministry of Health, Parliament, and then the Ghana Health Service, on modalities of making the system robust and then containing some of these shocks that may come our way. But along the line, or years to come, we just are faced with some of these heartbreaking stories where innocent children lose their lives, elderly people lose their lives, because we are not able to provide common beds for patients. It is heartbreaking. And these are things that we can simply put in place to curb some of the catastrophes that are associated with accessing healthcare. And I think that in the 21st century that we are in now, a country like Ghana that is clamoring Ghana Beyond Aid should be able to finance basic healthcare. Even from accessing point of the healthcare, it becomes problematic. Now, let me cast your mind back. The Lancet Commission, it is a UK-based research organization that states that more people die as a result of poor quality of services rendered to them when they access healthcare services, as compared with people who do not even access healthcare at all. So it means that the odds or the chances of dying, if you were to access healthcare, are high. If compared with, or than, or will I say, against those who do not even access healthcare. So if I fall sick and I decide to sit in the house, perhaps I could just recover simultaneously. But I mean, if I decide to also access healthcare, then what I'm faced with, poor quality of healthcare delivery that I'm faced with, would rather take my life quickly. So if such cases are happening at the nation's capital, then you can imagine what will be happening at the peripheries in the villages. Recently, at Ashanti region, we were made to understand that a lady had to use her own money to finance an improvised stretcher, or if you like, an ambulance to carry a pregnant woman or patients that come to her facility, and transfer them to other bigger facilities for better care and management. So it is a sad situation, and I think that in our country today, I mean, with the taxes that we pay and with our ability to generate funds and the proliferation of donors into our country, we should be able to finance healthcare effectively, because we have the numbers that we can be able to do that.
Right. Now, what do these deficiencies in our health system, what do they say on our socioeconomic gains as a country? What does it mean?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Could you come again?
Ahmed, what I'm asking is, the deficiencies you have outlined in the country's healthcare delivery system, with your work in policy, how are they contributing negatively to the country's socioeconomic gains? Okay,
yes. So first of all, I mean, in many African countries, though we have maternal and child mortality figures that fell short of Millennium Development Goal targets, and then achieving sustainable development goals, which remains a daunting challenge for many. Our health disparities and inequities along the path of, for instance, economic, geographic, social, and gender lines have worsened. It has worsened, and which has reduced the odds of achieving universal healthcare coverage. So what this means is that the ability of a person to access healthcare without any burden on the person has been heightened. So the inequities in benefits, in the access, and in the health expenditure and inefficiencies are what we are faced with now. So the health disparities are many. For instance, we have a human health security index of 35.5 out of a possible 100%. And then we stand at 152, our scoring, which means that we are ill prepared to face emergencies and prevent certain disease conditions from happening. So we need to put our acts together and then face the health security that is facing us. If you take our investment in healthcare, we are doing just around 3.6% of our GDP. But when you go to countries like, Sierra Leone, that are doing 11.1%, you wonder how they are able to do that. But there's an Abuja declaration that Ghana has signed on to that stipulates that every country should earmark at least 15% of its budgetary allocation to healthcare services delivery. But we are just doing around 3%. So if we need to be able to overcome some of these challenges, then we need to at least invest not less than 5% of our budgetary allocations to healthcare delivery. South Africa is doing around 8.8% of budget allocation. We also have the financial muscle to do that, and I think that we can do that. Now we have a target to achieve universal health coverage by 2030, and it may just boomerang on us, looking at the way we were not able to achieve the Millennium Development Goal targets. Okay. We may not just be able to achieve universal health coverage by 2030 if we continue in this regard. So we need to consider our health financing modalities very well. These are things that, we can do.
Ahmed, we appreciate your time with us on this night. Thank you so much for the insights on and how to overcome them. We're speaking with Ahmed Farhan. He's the Executive Director of the Africa Center for health policy. Watching News Tonight. We're back with more stories after the break.
60% water for optimal performance in any physical or mental exercise. We can help you maintain it naturally. X Natural Mineral Water. Simply natural.
Welcome back to News Night. Let's bring you more stories. And the Paramount Chief of the Ada Traditional Area, Nene Abram Kwiaku III, has called on indigents to resolve any impasse surrounding salt mining in and around the SONGOR Lagoon and support salt mining projects in the communities as it will promote the development of the area. Nene Abram Kwiaku III made the remarks when elders, chiefs and opinion leaders of the council toured the SONGOR Salt Development Project site being managed by Electrochem Ghana Limited.
The visit of the chiefs and opinion leaders was to get themselves acquainted with the ongoing development and progress of work on the SONGOR Lagoon and also to get a clear appreciation of the things Electrochem Ghana Limited is doing with regards to the 15-year-old contract it has with the salt project on the 42,000 acres of land. Electrochem Ghana Limited has come under intense pressure from the people of Ada due to the lease agreement it has with the government of Ghana. In order to put all impasse between the company and residents to rest, the chiefs and elders of Ada decided to embark on that exercise. Addressing the opinion leaders during the visit, the chairman of Electrochem Ghana Limited, Daniel Macaulay, said the project will create jobs and employment opportunities.
We are looking at the employment we're going to create here from here to Madagbe, Kosem Saloon. We are talking close to 6,000 youth, giving them job. Within 6 months to 1 year, we are employing over 6,000 youth in this community.
It's one of the problems with the local method of salt winning is that the brine is very poor quality. To get good quality brine, you need to move it around and have it in residence for a decent period of time. And that's what we will be doing and providing top quality brine for the local guys to mine and then sell back to us.
Welcoming the project by Electrochem Ghana, Paramount Chief of Ada Traditional Area, Nene Abram Kwiaku III, entreated residents to resolve all impasse and support the project.
Ne machine ni chubli ne egaba no ko de yimge ole wa ka guye ne wa jua hanoko ke wa peja wa che wa pe chapile ne wa pe se wa pe o ma so ne wa wo ka ke pe amutai mutai ni june e achuno ke onoko eko etana sega eko mama fonu wa bawo.
We have documents signed by Electrochem and the Ada Traditional Council, the 4 Oko clans, that they are not relocating anybody. They are rather here to help us. When we went once, you see the community, the ACHIMOTA that they are doing. Look at how messy the place is compared to the ones they are creating for the community. So all I'll do is to crave their indulgence that we should all bring our support to support Electrochem to make Ada proud and put Ada on the world map again.
The areas in Ada where salt mining will be undertaken includes Bonikope, Toflotbo, Avatpe and Tosem.
Away from that story, the Human Rights Court 1 of the High Court has set May 31, 2021 for judgment the lawsuit between Ohineba Nkrabea and the ACHIMOTA school. This comes after the court presided over by a ladyship, Giftia J. Ado, heard the merits of the case. Metro News' Henry Kwesi sat through the proceedings and has the rest of the story.
In court on Monday, Lawyer for the Board of Governors of the ACHIMOTA School, Kwesi Finn, and State Attorney Stella Bedu argued that the applicant's right to education has not been infringed upon, and the school only asked Ohineba Nkrabea to keep to the rules and regulations by keeping his hair short. They also opined that the curtailment of the right of Ohineba Nkrabea via school routes was provided by Article 14, Clause 1 of the 1992 Constitution. But lawyer of the applicant, Wayo Ganamanti, also argued that denying the applicant admission is a violation of his right to dignity. Lawyer of the embattled student spoke to Metro News after the hearing.
But one of our claims is that he's been reduced to being subjected to degrading treatments. That is Article 15 on the right to dignity, and exactly what we have deposed to in our affidavit as well as what we have in our written submission was clear. Finally, it has come out in open court and in public that one of the reasons why you said a Rasta man, you think having a long hair must cut it down, is you want to control the spread of lies in the heads of students. And we think that is demeaning enough, that is degrading somebody enough. And one thing that we find worrying is to try to lump a person with a bushy hair with a Rasta man. We find it untenable. This issue before the court is not about human rights on books. We are not before this honorable court seeking to re-echo and re-tell the court that there's Article 14 on our statute books, there is Article 12(2) on our statute books. We all know these things. It's not about the issue before the court. It's not about human right on books, human right in the statute books. No, the issue before the court is the protection of fundamental human rights. And the UNESCO and all international bodies, when it comes to human rights jurisprudence, have made it very clear. As we speak, there is obligation on states. We have the obligation to respect, obligation to protect, and obligation to fulfill human rights.
Lawyer for Ohineba Nkrabea wants the court to declare that denying the student admission because he keeps dreadlocks is a violation of his right to education guaranteed under Articles 25(1)(b) and 28(4) of the 1992 Constitution.
The Human Rights Division of the Accra High Court has set May 31, 2021 to deliver its judgment in a case involving Ohineba Nkrabea, who is one of the Rastafarian children who were denied admission on May 19, that is barely 2 months ago. Lawyers for all the parties have argued salient points of their written submissions today, and we wait for Her Lordship Gifty Ejay Ado to give her final judgment on May 31 to know whether Ohineba Nkrabea will be given the opportunity to attend ACHIMOTA school with his dreadlocks on or not. So we'll come back here on May 31 to bring you the details. Reporting from Metro News, I am Henry Kwesi Bedu.
Now we'll go for a quick break. When we'll come back, business news is up next with Winston Taki. Stay with us.
In Ghana and in Africa, there is only one place to look to get that luxurious design and decor for your offices and homes. Visit Jamila Home. We give you the climax of luxury wherever you find yourself. Presidential and executive office furniture, living room sets, dining set, stunning mirrors, adorable wallpapers, lovely king and queen size beds, valuable antiques and antique goods, beautiful chandeliers and more. Into the bargain, we provide caring customer service, prompt delivery service, skilled and artistic full house design and decor services, and free decor ideas for your space. Our products and service is unparalleled, boasting of top-tier clients all over the globe. Jamila Home, home of first-class quality furniture, beautiful chandeliers, and antiques.
You're welcome back to the program. It's now time for the latest in business, and Winston is here to bring us the updates. Take us away, Winston.
Thank you, Crosby. Now we bring you business developing from across Ghana in some telecommunication-related news. You stand a chance of losing your SIM card if you fail to re-register your card by the beginning of July. This is according to the Vice President, Dr. Mamadou Bawumia. Speaking at the 5th CEO Summit, he said this will help fight fraud-related activities.
The theme for this year's CEO Summit is Digital Transformation, Powering Business and Government Reset for a Post-Pandemic Economic Resilience, a Public Sector Dialogue. The Vice President, speaking on the theme, said government is making a tremendous progress in its digitization agenda. He further mentioned how the Ghana card will be the anchor for all transactions.
All bank accounts will be linked to a national ID number, and the process will start soon. And banks will start, once the process starts, they will start accepting and verifying the individuals using the national ID card. We will all, from maybe end of June or...
Bawumia further hinted a possible digitization of COVID-19 vaccination card. According to him, this will make vaccination information easily accessible.
We've now, however, decided to digitize the vaccination card, which you will receive when you get vaccinated, so that the card is now being embossed with a QR code, so that wherever you go in the world, when they digitally check your vaccination, they will see that indeed you have had one vaccination or two vaccinations, and therefore it cannot be altered. And this is the advantage of it, so that we become part of the global citizenry.
Now, in the agric sector, members of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana have expressed grave concerns over the rate at which smuggling, hoarding and other malpractices are breeding corruption in handling of Ghana's fertilizer distribution exercise. Programs Officer of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, Bismarck Norte, noted that this has become a trouble during a sensitization workshop handled in Shama in the Western region.
Research conducted by the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana has exposed a number of shady deals in the management of government-subsidized fertilizers being distributed to farmers nationwide. According to the research, it emerged that 92% of men and 85% of women peasant farmers who were polled expressed worry over smuggling of government-subsidized fertilizers earmarked for farmers. The program officer for the association, Bismarck Norte, said shortage and unavailability of the subsidized fertilizers at retail shops during the peak of the planting periods was a major concern to farmers and attributed the situation to hoarding and commercial farmers purchasing the product in bulk quantities to the detriment of Ghanaian peasant farmers.
Distributor now offer afi company na wa kra oba on the paper bia e bia na say on the sa fertilizer and say seeds na the echo ha na say echo na say eba regional capital say takwale and no as I said the day we will no minister of amanu ni say fertilizer say abba.
He He mentioned, among other things, the failure by the Ministry of Food and Agriculture to complete the farmer database registration to properly target smallholder farmers and the lack of enforcement on the caps on maximum quantities to be purchased by farmers as some of the causes of the challenges facing the program. Western Regional Director of Agriculture Patrick Akua urged the farmers to spray their crops with pesticides early enough to make it easy to control the pest.
This is the our agriculture office about the young say about the brain, the buy the green farm. But we are will be a sort of agriculture. And this is what I want. And the other woman something that they do no. It's not going to say, oh, woman found condemned memory. The most very it is a also a buyer, Samson, like a woman. And the man, yeah,
for his part, Western Regional Crops Officer Ibrahim Apia mentioned delayed process in documentation for payments processes by the government. The farmers also pled with the authorities to make sure that sale points for the fertilizer was brought closer to them, since they spent more on transportation in getting the product that later deterred them from cultivating large farms.
That'll be all for business tonight on News Night. Now back to you, CROSBY.
Winston, thank you so much for bringing us all the trends in business news. You're watching News Night on Metro Television. Go for a quick break. Sports news returns after this.
As a mother and wife, my priority is making sure my family is protected at all times. That is why I never forget to give my angel a Flora disposable handkerchief to keep germs and sweat at bay. When Habi is out in the fields, I'm rest assured of Flora coming in handy anytime he needs it. Even when my daughter Na is out late, I am confident Flora disposable handkerchief will be close enough to save the moment. Flora disposable handkerchiefs are my go-to disposable handkerchiefs any day, anytime, and everywhere. Flora disposable handkerchiefs is affordable and handy. Flora, better than cloth handkerchiefs. Flora is a product of Delta Paper Mill Limited. For inquiries and bulk purchases, call 0243 033 033.
Lawful wedded wife to having to hold from this day forward?
I do.
I knew it.
How much drama can you enjoy? See it feely with HD Plus. Get the best companion for your HD TV with HD Plus. Dial *879# to activate and enjoy the first 2 months for free.
You're welcome back to News Night. It's now time for sports with Phil John Corte. Good to see you, Phil, on a Monday evening. What's coming up?
Well, so much to talk about. Daniel Amate is in the news once again for the bad reasons over the weekend. Leicester has apologized, plus the Ghana Premier League. Up next, your sports. Welcome back. My name is Phil John Corte. Let's start the sports segment.
Moro sets up the pass. That's good enough for Ebusia draws. Michael comes in and they shot from a distance. And they are back in the game.
Yes, they are back in the game. What a goal from Moro Sumaila. His 5th goal of the season. And their first shot on target has resulted in the equalizer for
So there you have it. 1-1 ended at Cape Coast involving Busua Drafts and Dreams SC in the Ghana Premier League. Let's go to the city of Leicester, where they've apologized for Ghanaian international Daniel Amate when he decided to throw away Chelsea's pennant after the match involving Chelsea and Leicester in the FA Cup. You're seeing the visuals on this. This happened at Leicester City dressing room after Leicester won the game against Chelsea in the FA Cup. Leicester has apologized for the unsporting behavior of the Ghanaian international over last Saturday's act over there. According to Benda Rogers, he says that what the Ghanaian did is not really good, but they really feel sorry for Chelsea for that. There you have Daniel Amate throwing a pennant of Chelsea away following their victory over there in the FA Cup. We're still talking about EPL, and tomorrow Chelsea and Leicester will go to each other's throat once again. Remember, on Saturday it was Leicester that won by 1-0 to win the FA Cup. Tomorrow that will determine who is likely to finish in the top 4 in the EPL. Let's hear the managers, Thomas Tuchel and Benda Rogers.
There's nothing to worry too long about, and we spoke about the game. We had a post-match talk, and now we focus on the match tomorrow, which is the same opponent. I don't like at all costs, because at all cost means at all cost means at all costs, and this is not what we do. We want to win games. We're in sports, and this is not about life and death, but it's super important for our ambitions, and this. Of course, the situation is very clear. It's still in our hands. This is absolutely positive, and what we worked hard for, we should not forget. And we approach the game more or less like any other game. When the more tension is on, the more normal approach we use. And so we approach this game like any other game, with a clear will and desire to win.
It's an amazing feeling, obviously, when you can give something to people that they've never had before. So that just the sense of achievement for everyone within the club, outside of the club, the city of Leicester. It's been absolutely brilliant. So now we've enjoyed the moment, and but like you say, it's a quick turnaround now, and there's work to be done. I think we'd talked about it beforehand. We knew that. We didn't have any favours in the fixtures. Obviously, we could have played on the Wednesday, having not been playing to a Sunday, but we're playing on the Tuesday, so ultimately you have to be ready and prepared, and obviously it's another extremely tough game. So we recovered yesterday and then finish off our preparation.
Well, Benda Rogers over there speaking ahead of their tie against Chelsea tomorrow at Stamford Bridge. Earlier on, we had Thomas Tuchel also hoping to get the results over Leicester City. Will bring you the fixtures, the EPL, on your screen pretty soon. There you have it. There you have it. Manchester United, for the very first time, will be at home against Fulham. There will be fans over there. So we'll see where that Ole will sort out the gentleman over here who is in relegation. The gentleman over here is no